Hey, good afternoon everybody. Welcome all you fine people on YouTube. In today's video, we're gonna finally be working on the RB26. I'm gonna go over everything you guys need to know on how to take apart the intake manifold side. So we're gonna strip all this off the engine. We're gonna take apart the fuel rail, the plenum. We're gonna get down to the throttle bodies, take all that stuff off, disassemble the entire underside. We're gonna get pretty deep into it. If you guys like that type of content, don't forget to smash a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I picked up some other goodies today while I was out on a field trip visiting my buddy Andrew over at Stateside Garage again. So we picked up some more GTR magazines to add to the collection, so now I have like 30 of them. I did a review, thought it would be quick, and it took me 6 hours to edit the last video of one of those, so that should be coming online here later today. Picked up a new FD3 RX-7 C West poster from 2001. This is super badass, super JDM, super awesome. That's gonna look good in the garage out here. That'll match really well with the C West that we have over on the other side. And what else do we get? We got a Rockstar hat. This is autographed by a Honda race car driver over in Japan. But I was originally waiting for my stainless steel table to come so I could have some heavy car parts to put on there rather than this plastic table. It's delayed in shipping. I've been waiting for a week, so I think what I'm going to do, move the RB26, set it right over here in front of the front fender and door, and we'll put our lighting from here and there. We'll shine it at it so you guys can see everything, and we'll start the disassembly. All right, let's start by taking off all these 12 mil nuts around the intake plenum. We'll have to disconnect the linkage for the throttle bodies here, and then this will pop off. Let's get to work. It's kind of a little upsetting to take off this beautiful zinc coated hardware. Do my best not to damage it and scuff it up. Thank you to Remade in USA for hooking this stuff up so good. I don't know what UP Garage does when they put this stuff on, because there's like no wear marks over any of the nuts or anything. So maybe I'm gonna put a little bit of tape while I'm working with these so I don't scuff up that zinc. As far as getting in these guys, you can just use a little wobble socket and slip it down in here. I've got a little bit of electrical tape over all of my inside my socket to keep it from scuffing the nuts. Look how beautiful that zinc is. Thinking to myself, I don't want to drop any of these washers, nuts, or screws. And what do? I drop one. Getting ready to remove the fuel rail here. There's just a couple of bolts that hold it down and it pulls right up and off. Alright, so we're done pretty much getting all the nuts and bolts, everything we can do off of the top. The fuel rail is now disconnected, and myself, I've always been so scared to ever touch anything with the fuel rail, but there's just a couple of 12 mil bolts, one on each side that hold it in, and the fuel rail is literally just sitting on top of the injectors with a couple of like blue O-ring seals, or 6 of them, one per each one. So let's take off the fuel pressure regulator. Looks like we'll disconnect a couple fuel lines here, and then we'll just pull this right up and off. So the fuel rail hose clamps, I just slipped them down, and I thought about removing the fuel pressure regulator from the fuel rail, but I want to make sure that this seals. I know that these will reseal perfectly if I just slip them off. So I'll put you guys up on a tripod. I'll push these up out of the way and pull this up and out. Alright everyone, fuel rail's off. Here's a good look at everything. So you can see the ITBs and kind of everything here, a little bit greater detail down below. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to come around back. I want to get a little bit of video. So I need to get the water lines off that come down below here. These are the ones that go down to the firewall, so I want to get both of these guys off. I need to take off this bracket as well, kind of get all this crap cleared up, and then we can come underneath and disassemble all this off of the intake manifold and then pull that up and out. But what do you guys think so far? You guys out here having fun with me? Is it a good pace? Am I giving you guys enough information for the teardown? Pretty cool how all these little fuel injector pickups go into your runners. Well, pretty simple. Alright, I'm going to take off the idle air control valve. That's going to give me enough wiggle room to get that hose out without splitting in half. I'm going to replace it anyway, but in case I can't find one, don't want to destroy something if I don't have to. I'm just myself feeling a little overwhelmed with all these things. There's so much crap under here. I'm like questioning my ability to put it all back together. Taking it apart's one thing, but putting everything back together in the right order, that's another. But let's keep our fingers crossed. I got some faith in my ability. As long as I'm out here working without any beer to get me distracted and I can stay focused, I should be good to go. You guys feel me on that? I'd love to drink beer and work in the garage, but this is too advanced for that for me. All right, let's see here. This is a paper gasket that's on there. It should just come right off. There we go. That's so much better, gives you the space to move that off. Then we get to the plug, pop it right out, and we were going to be cleaning that idle air control valve out. Eric said he never cleaned it. It looks a little dirty. It was still working fine. There's a few bolts underneath that hold this assembly to the intake manifold. A couple 12 mils, so we'll start getting these off here, and then we'll be about ready to lift this off. We got to still take off a couple of the nuts underneath here. I'm just using a little wobble socket to get a little bit more play, a little bit more flexibility to get into these little spots. If you guys don't have wobble sockets or any kind of like little specialty tools, I'll have some links in the description down below of kind of the tools that I use. And they work pretty good. They're nothing fancy, just basic craftsman tools and stuff like that. Ooh, look at that zinc. That's a UP Garage bolt. Yeah, it looks like this one goes all the way up and in as well. So here's a good look underneath here, so you can see kind of the areas that we removed the bolts from. And then we had to pull off this last little vacuum line here, so we have room to get the intake manifold out, and then we can pull it up and over that. So I'm going to go ahead and take this little bracket off on the other side of this housing. And man, look at these wobble sockets for the win. They just get everywhere. So there's another nut right here that I just took out, or bolt, and then there's another one right here. Let's see how easily we can actually get it out. Not too bad. But yeah, definitely vacuum lines, no coolant or anything inside of this. So you need to get this hose off as well. At least this one comes off easy, pretty flexible. And wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So let's take a look at some of our parts so far. So sitting on the table, we've got our idle air control valve, we've got a bunch of zinc hardware, we've got that bracket we just removed, fuel rail. So not too many things taken off so far. This will be the next big piece. So as soon as we finish taking off all these nuts on the bottom, we can just pull this up and off. Let's get to it. If you guys like this, make sure, if you made it this far, give me a thumbs up on the video. It sure helps support the channel, and I appreciate it. Consider subscribing if you like this type of stuff, wrenching on stuff in the garage and having a good time and hanging out. That's what I like to do. So let's get back to work. Let's get this done. Ooh. Lefty loosey, not righty tighty. Like, I'm doing this off the car and it's still kind of a struggle. Probably because it's my first time, but like getting all this crap off with this in the car must have been a freaking nightmare. Yeah, it's not like you can reach these from the top either because they're underneath the runners, so only way is from the bottom. And nut. Let's get that last one right underneath the front of the plenum. Okay guys, so we can see that everything's disconnected. This will just slip right up and off of the idle air control valve little chamber here, whatever that's called. I have no idea. I don't want to mess up the terminology, but yeah, everything's disconnected. This can stay on. This will just sit right there, so that's fine. Everything up top is looking good. Throttle linkage is loose. Nothing else restricting anything here. So yeah, this is looking good. I'm gonna set you guys up on a tripod and let's take this bad boy off finally. All right, let's just gently see what we can do here. All right, so it's definitely gonna come off. I'm gonna have to wiggle it slowly. There we go. Get you guys a little bit better angle. There we go. So it looks like what I was unaware of is on the intake manifold, you have these little dowels that go into the bottom. And that's where I was a little hung up on, just giving those a little bit of pressure to pop them out. So if you guys look at these throttle bodies, you'll see there's like a little type of seal around each one of the butterfly valves. Do not ever spray any type of cleaner down there because it'll compromise that material, because your car will not run right or idle correctly afterwards. Don't do it. So this is badass. These are the remade in USA throttle body kits. So these are all fully rebuilt and they look super badass. So I wanted to get a good look at the individual throttle bodies for you guys, so you guys can kind of see how it works. I've got the HKS gaskets on mine versus the paper ones so they don't leak at all. And I think I'll do my next video disassembling all this stuff and go into really good detail, because I'm already at like probably 20 minutes on today's video. And I think I've got already enough. There's plenty of content here to make another video easily. Alright guys, so this is everything that we removed today. So we got all our nice fresh zinc stuff over here, tons of it. Idle air control valve, got the fuel line, this other line that goes to the idle air control valve, vacuum line, whatever that is. And then we have the fuel rail, all the fuel injectors. And then you can see on the injectors, you just have these little rubber seals here. These guys sit into the engine where the throttle bodies are, and that's your seal there. And then you've got your blue seal down here. I was always so scared and intimidated to do anything with a fuel rail. I installed fuel injectors once before and they leaked. It's because I didn't do it right. I didn't even take the fuel rail all the way off. I just kind of like crammed them in there, and I think I damaged the seals. But super simple. You can see you have just these little openings, and those little rubber O-rings, little gasket seals just go right against there, seat against there, and works, you know, super easy. Just a couple bolts holding on, it pulls out. Not too bad. If you look over at the intake manifold or intake plenum, you can see this thing is just super light. It's not very heavy at all. Little short stubby runners. You can see how the back one, well, it's kind of shaped and almost like the air. This one definitely, you can tell in the design, it doesn't seem like it would get as much air compared to like the Nismo design. And who was that? Motive Video, Andrew did a test on it, and what the Nismo manifold, intake manifold, made like an extra 2 or 3 horsepower. And it's like $2,500. And I don't remember if it ran each cylinder, if it was any leaner or any more accurate, but this thing works fine. It can be installed inside the car or off the car. So there she is. Looking pretty snazzy, a little dirty. Need to scrub her down for sure. I think it's kind of cool to look inside the intake manifold, down like the chambers. You can see how the runners and stuff go through. It's pretty cool. Super light, super thin. Looks pretty well engineered, especially for like, considering that this design came out in the first GTR in 1989. The R&D was done in like 1986, 88, 87, like in that time frame. I think it's just pretty cool shit. But anyway guys, I think I'm going to end today's video here, taking off just the fuel rail and the injectors and getting the intake plenum and all that stuff disassembled. I'm going to probably already have about 15 to 20 minutes of video to edit already at that, and that'll give me a good starting point so I can go as much in depth and detail to take off the ITBs and take all this stuff apart. So my next video, I'll just take all this apart and then I'll take the head off after that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That'll give me a good couple extra videos to do. And if you guys got something helpful out of this video, please smash the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, tell your friends, share the video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Have a good one.